Hey guys, welcome back. Kamina the Coach here. If you are new here, my name is Kamina the Coach. I've been working and living abroad since around 2011, 2012. I've been working as an immigrant. I'm now a migrant here in Mexico. Some of the videos on this channel are in regards to that. Some of the videos on this channel are because I am a adoptee who was adopted by a family who is not black. I obviously am, and all the trauma that surrounds that, my reunion story, and just a lot of working with trauma videos and living a better, more productive life. My last, I think, video was, I might have done two, in regards to accepting that I'm AuDHD in addition to probably a lot of other things. If nothing else, dyspraxia for sure, AuDHD, ADHD, and autism together. And I'm at home from work today. You can't see it. It's just so... I really want to do this video about all the stuff that comes with being ADHD, and gosh, I guess I'm relieved to know that there's a reason why, and it's not just that I'm being punished, but also kind of frustrating that it is probably tied to my ADHD and autism, and there's nothing really I can do about it, which is a little frustrating, especially as I head into perimenopause, and which is probably why I have. So the doctor said she thinks it's psoriasis. Why now? I mean, I'm completely plant-based. I eat very little processed food. I drink very little sugar. I rarely drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes. Why? Why would this happen now? So I can blame probably perimenopause, change of hormones, change of the texture of my skin, on aging, but then probably some way, form, or fashion, AuDHD stirs in there. What I really wanted to do this video is about is living in a country that isn't, or in a part of a country, because of course not all of Mexico is like where I live. So I don't live in Mexico City. I don't live in a tourist destination. I live in a very, very rural part of Mexico. In addition to it being very rural part of Mexico, it's also in a largely indigenous state. It's in a poor state, and one of the least educated states in Mexico. So that sets this culture a bit apart from the rest of the country. The further north you go, the more cold the culture becomes, more like the United States. But I'm way down south and in a small town, and it's actually part of what I loved about Mexico when I first came here to live. I am from Texas, and there's a feel, and I've done some videos about this, there's a very warm feel here. However, so I don't know if I talked about this in my last video. I do feel like I've done a lot of healing work, and I continue to do healing work, and I feel like the more that I heal, the more my autism and ADHD step to the front. I also heard Purple Ella, who is an autistic creator, say that she feels like when her ADHD medication is working, her autism steps to the front, which all that makes sense to me. So as I heal, I feel like my ADHD and autism really, really step to the front. And though I much prefer living in, because I have lived in polar opposites. So I've lived in countries where it's not okay to speak to people on the street, and it's not okay to smile at people on the street. And I've lived in countries where the atmosphere, the energy of the country is very dark. And I don't get that here. Now, the town where I live is a little suspicious. There's a suspicious energy here, which isn't great. But in general, in this state where I live, it's a relatively light feeling, and whatever I give is what I get. So why is that a problem for an autistic person? Well, first of all, let me back up just a little bit. Though I have met one diagnosed ADHD person here, I think that unless kids are going to expensive private schools, that they're probably not getting these diagnoses, and certainly adults are not, because um, though I wouldn't class in general the population as living in poverty, they're also quite focused on just surviving, like living day to day. Mexico, they have the administration has said that they're going to cut down to a 5-day work week, but right now it's a 6-day work week, and people are just trying to like make it. Seriously, they're just trying to put a roof over their kids' heads and make it. So no shade at all. I am thankful to be welcome here. However, I really feel deeply. I feel deeply for kids that are born into this culture and have autism without ADHD, because I think that in general, having ADHD makes an autistic more intuitive and more a people person, more likely to be an ambivert, and which is also my Myers-Briggs definition. I'm an INFJ, which is known to be the most extroverted introvert. And from what I've studied, if for an autistic person to be like that, usually it's because they have ADHD. And all of the autistic people that I've seen online who feel like more like me, I think also are autistic and ADHD. Anyways, so it's hard. So I do like people. I do like being welcomed and feeling like I can ask for help if I need it. That is a big healing, growing space for me, being able to ask for help. However, especially on campus, so not in general, like just walking around town, but on campus for sure. Though our campus is huge, it's a small community, right? So it's very important that I never project myself as cold, aloof, and it's not, in general, it's not that I am ever feeling cold. It's that I'm not feeling like being, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? And in fairness, I'm not always like that, but in general, I kind of am. And when we came back from the new year, I kind of resolved to carry myself with the instead of the. And I've really noticed a difference. It's very, very different the way that people engage me when I made this change. Also, I'd spoken about that a coworker mentioned that, oh, they just treat foreigners like that. And I did a video about this, that it's not that they just treat foreigners like that. It's that foreigners who come with their resistance to adapting to somebody else's culture, and they perpetuate their own culture with disregard for how that makes the locals feel when they have such a strong sense of culture. So I think that makes the community embrace or not embrace a person very differently when they refuse to accept or at least try to respect the culture. Just my 2 cents. So because I know what can happen, and I've had some bad experiences here myself as a work woman living in rural Mexico alone, I've had some bad experiences myself. I just know that it is to my best interest. Like, I have to watch myself constantly, and it's exhausting. That means I'm constantly masked. That means I absolutely never get a chance to unmask. The only time I'm unmasking is in my office when I'm alone, or in my house when I'm alone. And so I stay in my house alone a lot now. And because I'm an ADHD on top of the autism, I do have a really strong yearning for adventure and novelty and exploration. Yet I feel very pinned down right now because even if I'm feeling bad, I have to go out and put my best foot forward. I feel like I'm approaching burnout at the moment because I am overloaded with too many things that I feel like I have too many balls in the air. Like I'm trying to juggle and I have too many balls in the air. So I have this weird rash that started when the rain started just over a week ago. The doctor gave me steroid cream today, so we'll see if that works. I had a really serious surgery in Saudi Arabia, and the thing that I had surgery for is back, which is a little devastating. In addition to that, I have a cyst in that same general region, which is a bit frustrating as well. Occasionally there's some pain associated with that. I also have some problem that I've had this problem for about 9 months. And I went to a doctor and he was like, yeah, we'll just get you some insoles. He called it metatarsalgia and we'll be done with it. But there's still pain and that's not supposed to be. So I went to see a physical therapist and it's either tendon, ligament, or bone, who knows. But it really hurts on the top of my foot. Possibly, best case scenario, an injection. Worst case scenario, a boot for 6 to 8 weeks. The absolute worst case scenario is surgery. And the thought of doing another surgery again by myself, absolutely makes me have heart palpitations. Seriously, just saying it out loud made me have a heart palpitation. My house, though I love this house, the more it rains, the more leaks there are. And the owner has literally told me, if you don't like it, you can leave. He was like, because I don't have the money to fix it. I don't know if you can see that bowl right there. And then I can't cook pasta because all my bowls to cook pasta, all my pots to cook pasta are in my bedroom because there's just like a line of leak in the bedroom. And then the spare room, there's some like mysterious leak and I don't know where it is. That's fun. There's a couple of things on my car that I need to get fixed. I need to get new glasses really bad. Like I have some chemical stains on them, so I can't see very well. Yeah, so my foot, I need to get an x-ray and I really need to do that so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I could just go on and on. There's a lot of stuff that's causing me to feel like I'm probably about to go into it, like an internal meltdown that's going to lead to a shutdown. And I feel like I just came out of a shutdown in March. Yeah, I feel like I've not been out very long. So anyway, so I'm isolating as much as possible because I am having to exert so much energy masking while I've got so much stuff going on. And it's exhausting, and I had to take the day off today. I mean, my neck, so the steroid cream helped a lot, but when I woke up, like my neck was like on fire and it was red all the way around. So that's part of it, but part of it is just because I just don't feel, external meltdowns are embarrassing, but I think that, I don't know this for sure, but I think that an internal meltdown may be more detrimental. Maybe. I don't know. And I feel a little jealous because I get to watch all of these women that are around my age that are getting diagnosed and actively working to unmask. And I feel a little jealous because I don't feel like there's any safe place that I can unmask. And there's no safe place to be me. And what a scary, exhausting feeling that is, if you can imagine. So I think that I'll do another video after this. I saw a young woman in a autistic group talking about she's going to go study in Russia. I don't know why she would choose Russia, but She wants to go study in Russia, and she needed a lot of tips. And boy, do I ever have them, especially now that I understand from an AuDHDer's perspective, and some things to take into consider, some things to do to prepare, how to travel without the complete sensory overload, especially on the plane for that long haul flight. Oh, that first one. The first one to China was the worst. So I may come back and do a video about that. I've been kind of resistant to doing videos about AuDHD because honestly, the community feels a little cutthroat to me. It feels like if you're from the United States, the way that liberal pundits are to Democratic candidates. Like, the conservative pundits support their candidates like no matter what, but the liberal pundits will absolutely shred even their own candidates. I'm not political, but I did get sucked in for a little bit during the election and the aftermath. I did get sucked in for a little bit. So, but it is interesting to me and kind of scary how the liberal pundits will destroy their candidates. But the conservative candidates are just like, their candidate just like raped and pillaged a village, but they're like, yeah, it's good, it's because they had it come, that kind of situation. But anyway, so I feel like kind of inside of the neurodivergent community, though people say it's very supportive, I feel like it's a little cutthroat. And why I've kind of always avoided communities. I feel like, I also joined a neurodivergent group for neurodivergence of color. I felt the same thing there, maybe a little more intense, and probably rightfully so because we've been carrying this stuff for so long, but I don't think we should be putting it on each other. But anyways, so I have avoided doing these videos because of fear of backlash from the community. But since my videos don't really go viral and I'm not making money on this, I don't think we're gonna have that problem. And I can just get the therapeutic relief that I need of saying this out loud to someone, because I am effectively pretty much alone in the world at this point. And in general, I'm okay with that. In general, I'm okay with that. I would just like the opportunity to unmask from time to time. So I get to do that here in my videos and let out some of this, hopefully to let out some of this energy that is kind of pushing me towards a meltdown and a shutdown. So anyways, no advice, really, just some wisdom from what I see is going on here, and like how it may be different from place to place culturally. I have seen a few people discuss, living other places and how they think that it's different culturally, but it's really a challenge here. I love it here. This is home now. This is where I'm gonna build my home, but it is culturally a challenge for somebody with ADHD and with the autism. ADHD maybe not so much, but definitely autism. So anyways, I'll just go ahead and leave it there at 20 minutes, folks. So as always, my name is Kamina the Coach, sending you love, light, peace, and joy. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.